Kill Team Forge, Talker Person, Redhead, Hambone, Too Tall, the Dorky One, the Red One, Guy.
Hello and welcome to Kill Team Forge. I'm your host, Talker Person, and I've never recorded a podcast before, never put a video on YouTube before, and at the time of writing this script, never played a game of Kill Team before. So thank you for joining this debut and this introduction to Kill Team. This channel is going to include battle reports, competitive strategy discussion, a series introducing the game to new players, tournament coverage, statistical analyses, as well as things we make for Kill Team with our Glowforge. Kill Team Forge. Glowforge. But this episode is pretty much just an introduction to the channel, myself, and me describing my own introduction to Kill Team. So if you're hoping for strategy, modeling, advice, or really anything that might help you, this is the right channel. But this episode in particular, sorry, nothing of use for you here. It is great practice for me though. I first heard of Kill Team by mention through Penny Arcade, the comics/empire. They started playing, building, then painting, then eventually got around to playing, on their excellent Tuesday afternoon Twitch streams. But even as Penny Arcade made me aware of it, I wasn't immediately interested. I actually started playing Warhammer 40,000, or 40k, with the 3rd edition starter set, which I want to say came out in 1998. I was really active in the hobby for about a decade, though I tended to skew more towards fantasy or fantasy battle than 40k. Fantasy was more tactical, and because of regiments and regiment bases, had a lot less obnoxious model moving and repositioning. And then, Games Workshop canceled all support for fantasy and regiments. Well, I still have all the rules I need and a few armies, so I kept my fantasy stuff anyways. But early 2018, I donated all of my 40k models to a public high school's gaming club. Then later in 2018, Penny Arcade introduced me to the possibility of a smaller scale 40k. At that point, I didn't have models, didn't have an interest in repurchasing models I literally just gave away, didn't have any friends around who play, so it just didn't really sink its claws into me. One day this fall, I walked past a game store on the way to a neighborhood jeweler to get my watch band replaced for my wedding. On the way back to the car, I popped in, saw a couple tables in use and plenty of 40k on the shelves. A couple weeks later, I was at a beer and wine store buying the beer for my wedding, and there was a Games Workshop store across the street. I checked out Reddit, our Kill Team, and I found that one of the biggest tournaments is held right where I live in Nova. Then I found out the other biggest US tournament is held right near where Hambone lives in SoCal. Then my bride said she was getting her bridesmaids some additional day of gifts in case I wanted to get my groomsmen anything. I did. I ended up getting myself and each of my groomsmen a Kill Team, and one of those was the Gellerpox infected, so getting the Rogue Trader box gave me counters, a board, as well as an additional faction available to my bride. I myself went with Death Guard. The first army I ever used was the Dark Eldar that came in that old big black book starter set, but they were no fun to play in that set. Their models didn't match Games Workshop's prize Marines, and it was the army I used by default, not because I chose it. When it was clear we were outgrowing the starter set and the game was sticking with us, I chose Plague Marines. Lo and behold, Plague Marines are in the starter set now. What that meant to me was they had much improved, if not slightly too spiky, new models, but more importantly, they are cheap through alternative markets. I got myself some starter pieces off eBay, ordered a box of Plague Marines through that local store I walked into, and that's a team. So then once I took the purchase plunge, and I had close friends who'd have teams, I started getting more into it. I looked more on Reddit, on our Kill Team, and that led me to YouTube. Glass Half Dead is the ubiquitous Kill Team YouTuber, and deservedly so. If you're not familiar with his channel, go there now because it is remarkably informative. Glass half dead. But if you're already familiar with Kill Team content and that's why you are watching the introduction to a new Kill Team content channel, then feel free to continue to hang around as I keep rambling about myself. So back to me. As I was reading more on Reddit, getting more from Glass Half Dead and others, such as Chill Team and Virenid on YouTube, my confidence and interest in the competitive scene grew. Sure, I hadn't played a game yet, and yes, this led to a couple more model purchases, but in a very short turnaround I got my death guard to a competitive level. And the short turnaround was for a purpose. 2 weeks after the wedding, I had a roster of 19 built and tournament acceptably painted models, took them to my local Games Workshop for an arena tournament. The week after that, I packed my team up, flew to SoCal to introduce Hambone to the game, and of course, check out the SoCal Open. For the additional models, I was once again blessed by Papa Nurgle. This cheapo little snap-together set actually comes with 2 tournament-useful models. Gimme that Blight Launcher. Gimme that Champion with Power Fist and Plasma Gun. Set retails for just $15, cheap and practical. Although, I also got the Dolores Strain Kill Team set. Now, no one's going to suggest 5 Death Guard Terminators are an important part of any competitive roster. I wanted the terrain, the tactics, and the gorgeous models, but I also wanted to support Kill Team. Games Workshop abandons games. They do. So buying actual Kill Team products lets Games Workshop know, hey, people like this. They'll pay money for it. Don't abandon it, please. Plus, with the current Hordes meta, I thought a Terminator with Combi Flamer and Veilsword was a worthy 20th man. I didn't think people would be expecting it. Plus, even though I don't have any strong inclinations towards playing 40k right now, I probably have the models for a serviceable Death Guard force at this point, thanks to the Terminators. So that was how and why I got the models I got, and how I got into Kill Team. Well, that's about it. That's the end of the introduction. It's also the end of the episode. So thank you.
And good night. It's over!